Hello, hi everyone. This is Liz Davis. I am a nutritionist and I specialise in digestive health for busy women. So I help busy women fix their IBS, bloating, painful digestion, heartburn, reflux, etc. Any related hormone issues or chronic fatigue and so on, which can often be traced back, at least in part, to what's happening in your gut or there being a little bit of an imbalance there. And I generally help people by using state-of-the-art gut testing, so lab testing, and then dietary lifestyle upgrades, etc., supplementation to bring things back into balance for you. So it's that time of year again. We need to start thinking about our vitamin D levels. Do we need to top them up? Probably at some point is going to be the answer for most people. We've had dreadful weather all week here in the UK. It's been rainy for most people and we've not really seen a lot of sun at all. So unless you're lucky enough to have managed to get away this week or recently, it's highly likely you might need to think about topping up your levels shortly. So I was going to just go over the areas in your body that use vitamin D, a lot of vitamin D, so they rely on vitamin D to function properly. And so then you can deduce from that what your if you've got symptoms, and if a top up of vitamin D supplementation is going to be really helpful to you there. But it is thought that a lot of people, normally about, more than half the population at any given time, are thought to be deficient in vitamin D to a greater or lesser extent. And the best way to ascertain if you're deficient and how deficient you are, because sometimes it can be really quite pronounced, is obviously to test. So I'll come on to that a bit more in a minute. So there are some people, certain groups are going to be more susceptible to a vitamin D deficiency than others. So the main thing is going to be your skin tone. So the darker your skin, the harder it is for your skin to absorb the vitamin D. So if you've got, fair skinned people tend to synthesize it quite easily, but not always. So again, it's worth testing. But certainly the darker your skin is, it's generally going to be more difficult for you. Also, if you tend to cover up a lot, so if you don't tend to expose your skin to the sun at all, or if you wear high factor sun cream, or indeed any sun cream when you're in the sun all the time without giving your skin any chance to absorb it before putting the cream on, then that's going to be making you a bit more susceptible to a vitamin D deficiency. Or if you're someone who tends to spend most of your time indoors for whatever reason. It could be because you're in a care home or hospital long term, or just not going outside during daylight hours, particularly. Maybe you're a shift worker or something. If any of that applies, then I would certainly suggest getting a test and finding out if you're low, particularly if you've got any of these symptoms, which I'm going to go through in a minute. So spending time in the sun without sunscreen on is definitely the best way to top up your vitamin D levels. Obviously don't let your skin burn, because that can be very unpleasant and obviously it's a bit hazardous to health, so I would avoid doing that. But normally most people can top up their vitamin D levels in about 20 minutes, and then you can cover up or sit in the sun, or sit in the shade rather, and that should give you adequate vitamin D. But of course we can't really do that at the moment because the weather is so bad, and also even if the sun did come out, it probably wouldn't be strong enough to synthesize vitamin D at this time of year, right through till about April, when it will become strong enough again. As far as food sources go, there are a few. Mushrooms are probably one of the best food sources, medicinal mushrooms particularly, or oily fish or eggs have vitamin D as well, but not enough to really top up your levels. So they're really good additions to your diet anyway, but I wouldn't be relying on them for topping up your levels, particularly if you're deficient at all. Okay, so what does vitamin D actually do? So these are the kind of areas that vitamin D is particularly important for in your body. So if you're suffering in any of these areas, then definitely a vitamin D test and supplementation could well be helpful to you. So definitely bone health. because vitamin D helps the calcium to get into your bones. So if you're suffering, anything to do with, osteoporosis or anything like that, vitamin D is worth looking at. It's definitely important for a healthy immune system. It stops your body overreacting to infections and having prolonged infections, things like that. So that's doubly important at this time of year. It can protect against autoimmune conditions. It's very useful for anything mind and mood related, so anxiety, depression, or anything like that. If you're suffering with, it's going to be worth looking to see if what your vitamin D levels are doing. Helps maintain blood sugar balance and insulin levels, so that is then associated to maintaining a healthy weight. It definitely boosts your energy levels, so if you're finding your energy levels are really flagging, that's one area that you could be looking into. Also skin health, eczema, psoriasis, things like that often can be helped by supplementing vitamin D. So again, if your levels may be very low if you've got anything like that, so it's definitely worth testing. So yeah, also heart health, cardiovascular health, etc. It's really critical for that as well. So how much vitamin D do you need to take? Well, if you sat in the sun for 10 minutes, you would probably synthesize about 10,000 units of vitamin D. The government guidelines suggest between 400 units and 4,000 units. So given if you sat in the sun, you'd be synthesizing 10,000 units, I would certainly be looking to supplement at the upper end of that range. Obviously, if you've tested and you can tell that you need more supplementation than that, then you can go with your test results and adjust those recommendations accordingly. So I would be looking really most supplements come between 2,000 international units, 3,000 international units, that kind of level would be a good level to supplement with. For school age kids, I would probably be looking at 2,000 international units there. So you definitely want to be looking at a vitamin D3 with added K2, because the K2 is going to help you get the vitamin D where it needs to go and help the vitamin D get the calcium into your bones. So that's the combination you want to be looking for, unless you're already taking a multi which contains vitamin K2, that will have you covered. So I hope that helps you. If you would like any more information on my coaching packages, do pop me a DM just asking for more info and I can get that over to you. And do like and share if you found this useful. Okay, I shall see you next time. Bye.